I'm Dan Hunt, and this is Up Close and Personal. Today, my guest, Travis Horn, the one, the only, the incredible, keep going, balance guru. Yes. Travis, welcome to the show.
How you doing? Thank you for having me. I appreciate
it. So, what is a balance guru?
The balance guru is taking your movement from yourself and understanding the power of focus within yourself. So the name is a name just like anything else created. It's just a name.
Just a name.
It's just a name. It's an online persona to get people to understand what I'm doing.
And I'm going to really get deep into the balance and what you're doing right now. But before we go there, we're going to talk about you. But I want you to tell the viewers one thing, just one thing, the craziest balance thing that you've ever done.
I think the craziest balance thing I've ever done was a Wounded Warrior project. Actually, it was Yosemite Falls, and I handstand on the top of that waterfall, which was
at Yosemite Falls.
Yes, which was pretty high.
Oh, it's up there.
It's up there.
I've stood right at the top of that, looked down. It's up there.
It's up there, and I'm pretty sure there's a sign that says "Do not handstand on there." So be safe. Disclaimer, disclaimer. Do not handstand off of any waterfalls. It's not safe. But they definitely thought I was a Cirque du Soleil performer or something like that. They definitely had a bunch of cameras out following me around after that.
Following you around, yeah. So we're sitting here on a Wednesday afternoon in Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're on your way to Rome.
2 days.
In 2 days, you're on your way to Rome.
Yes.
Tell us why you're going to Rome.
I'm actually going to break the Guinness Book of Records for the highest handstand on a stacked tower, which is yes, it's 22 and a half feet currently now, just 5.5 meters, but I'm going to try to go higher than that for sure.
So a stacked tower, and we talked about this a little bit when you came in. So you're going to have poles.
Yes.
And you're going to climb up these poles.
Shimmy up.
Shimmy on up, and then you're going to have somebody throw them up to you.
Yes.
Put another one on.
Yes.
Shimmy up higher. Put another one on. Shimmy up higher until you get to 22 feet up in the air.
Yes.
And then you're going to put your hands, and you're going to do a handstand.
Yeah.
On top of them.
Yes, like this.
Like this, on top of the poles.
Yeah. Have to hold it for at least 10 seconds.
And you got to hold it for at least 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'll probably do a couple push-ups up top. I think that'll be exciting.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know. I hope they can add it in.
What about getting down? Then you just flip down and just slide around?
No, I just got to have to come down. That's the hardest part, actually. They asked me what's the hardest part of the whole move, and it's actually coming down. It's like after you've already told yourself that you're amazing and you did it, coming down, because I think the record actually says that the tower may not fall.
The tower may not fall.
That's
so you actually have to change that balance from the top to the bottom and then bring yourself down, keeping those two things in place.
You make it sound really difficult, man. But it's not that difficult.
Oh, television guys, what can you say? We got to build the drama,
Oh,
right?
man, like exponentially, yeah, my kinetic chain and my proprioception at the time of complete, no, it's doable.
It's doable.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to add that video to this link. Once it's done, once you set this record, we're going to add that video to this link so anybody watching this interview can see it.
Thank you.
But you know what, Travis, let's go back. You had a difficult childhood. I mean, there's no other way to put it, but you had a difficult childhood. You grew up in Louisiana from like 0 to 6 or 7, 8, something like that. Your dad was a boxer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, he was a boxer. As far as I know, his amateur record, I'm pretty sure, was like 392 and 12 or something.
Okay.
Terry Farm Boy Horn. He showed us a little thing. He was like a boxer. I guess he grew up in Louisiana, so he was always a fighter. He always fought. Like he helped protect bullies. So my dad always naturally became a fighter. He said he was a child. Someone came up to him with a Corvette and said, "Hey, you get the Corvette, you box for me, or you join the military." And he said that was probably the worst decision he's ever made. That's what he told us as a child. That's why pretty much my brother joined the Marine Corps, and then I joined the Marine Corps. Because he said he had 2 options as a child, so he pretty much by default as a parent gave us 2 options. You're not going to be a boxer, so we actually never actually put a pair of boxing gloves on our whole life. We would get in trouble.
No, you never.
He said we were not allowed. Because what if we got the itch?
Yeah.
And I tried to pull my dad back actually with that. I said I was going to become a boxer just to try to get him back in my life. Didn't work.
Didn't work.
No.
So, as a kid, you were in and out of like foster care a couple of times, and that's because your dad was a boxer and he was on the road, actually here in Las Vegas.
Yes.
So he came to Vegas, and Child Protective Service came and got you, your brother, and your sister, and put you into the system.
Put us in the system, and as far as I know, as a child, the rest is history. I grew up, my dad got us back, and we got my brother back after that, and my sister back, and then that's it. We left out of Louisiana, left the mom, the mother figure.
Right.
Moved with his mom, which is my grandma.
And to this day, you don't know your mom as an adult.
Yeah, I haven't never said the word mother to my mom. Like, she is in Texas somewhere, and she does try to reach out every now and then, but the energy and I just haven't, maybe I'm not ready for it yet. Like, we all have to go through things. I just have been going through so much things on my own the last 7 years that I haven't actually broke down to maybe needing, like, the mother. I would love my mother, and I would love to meet her, and I would love to see her and all that stuff. Just right now, I don't have the access, I don't have the money, I don't have the finances, I don't have the way.
When you got to high school, you grew up here in Vegas from, say, 8, 9, something like that, first, second, third grade, through high school, got a job in high school.
Yep.
What'd you want to be when you grew up?
I didn't know at that point. I just knew I didn't want to do what I was doing every single day, which was going to get my dad from the bars or trying to sell things to get things, you know, like looking at the rappers in the store, looking for the star to get a free lollipop. Back in the day, they did that. It just was not what I wanted to do. It's just and once my brother joined the Marine Corps, I was like, he got a car, and I was like, that's it. He has a car, he has a way, and that's it. I followed his footsteps.
You just followed his footsteps. But you know, it's kind of interesting. We talked about this, and you told me the story that you were working at a hamburger place, and one day you got fed up with the manager. What'd you do? Tell me the story.
I got fed up with the manager. I was scrubbing the driveway, which In-N-Out Burger is a very clean spot, so everything is clean to the T. Every single night they shut it down, and they have a team come in and clean it. And I went in there, and he was just, you know, the manager was just sitting there, and I just thought, like, in his position to tell me that I didn't do something. He tried to say I did not, and I knew there was cameras, so I was like, well, instead of blaming me, check the cameras. And the fact that he didn't check the cameras and he tried to blame me for 8 hours of scrubbing, I kind of was like, this is not what I want to do. Like, I guess I had a lot more in me at that point that I knew, a lot more courage, because an average high school student would have just took the money and just kept going.
Picked up the phone, called your dad, said, I'm joining the Marine Corps.
Joining.
So, you know, this is kind of interesting, and I interview a lot of people all over the world, and you didn't just go join the military. You didn't join the Army or the Coast Guard or the Navy. You joined the Marine Corps. The big boys, the bad boys, the best. Why?
I think it's probably because kind of like my dad's mentality. He always instilled in us that it's if you're gonna go do it, you do it all the way. You don't half-ass things. So, for me, I just looked at the other branches, and there wasn't really any other options that I wanted to say. It's just like there was the mentalness of, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to really go gung-ho, it has to be the elite of the elite. And since my brother went, there was no way possible I could ever join the Army. Ain't ready to be a Marine yet, right? There's no way I could join the Army or the Air Force or the Navy. There wasn't, at that point, it was almost like, no, if my brother can do it, I can do it.
Basic, you gained 30 pounds.
Ooh, lean muscle. My sister, for the first time in my life, called me fat.
Really?
I went out at 5'6", 112 pounds. I got out 5'6" at 139 pounds.
Really?
Just
ripped.
Not really ripped, but like bigger. Like I might had a chest and stuff. Like I was like, at that point I was freshly married, so I got in the car and my wife was like, "What's going on with you?" Right? So yeah, I gained a lot. 3 times a day, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches will get you there, 100%.
3 times a day,
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That bread and protein and that intake, no matter what, you will gain. I believe that. 3 months they rewired you in 3 months. You can rewire your whole self in 3 months, 100%.
From there, you went to Iraq?
Yep. I was 18 years old. I went to Iraq.
And what was your job in the military?
I was a communicator. I was a radio operator, 0621. It's cool, that number, because my son was born at 0612. So that's a wire dog. So everybody was like, oh, he's going to be in the military. He's going to be a wire dog. That's how I remember the time. But I was a radio operator. I was a communicator. I didn't sign up for that. No one signs up for, no one gets what they sign up for, just so you know. Out there.
That's a myth.
That's a myth, 100%. They're on the commercial slaying dragons. No dragons. So I actually signed up for HVAC.
HVAC?
Yeah. It was a whole 0600 field. I wanted to just work on refrigerators and stuff. And I got in there, and in boot camp, they called my name, and guess what my first thing my dad said? They said, radio operator. I said, well, what's that? I didn't sign up for that. Guess what? I called my dad on family day. Guess what the first thing he said was? You know those games that we used to play back in the day? Because back in the day, you used to make up games in your house, right? They don't play that no more. You used to set up little army men in the kitchen.
Yep.
My dad used to throw a bouncy ball, see how many men, you know? And guess what he used to tell me? Who's the first one we're supposed to take out?
Radio operator.
Exactly. You know what my dad said? He said, you signed up to die. I literally just went through 3 months of military boot camp training, and he said, you literally signed up to go die. And I was like, dude, that's the last thing I'm trying to hear right now. Like Raymond, my brother, he had a truck driver, so it was a little less. He was a motor T. I had the antenna, so all I thought about every day was, dude, they're about to send me to Iraq with this antenna on my back, and I know, when I was in, what do you mean? Like, so for me, it was very traumatizing. Like I had some crazy experiences in Iraq that were traumatizing.
Well, you know, and one of the things from my experience with the military is that the radio operator has a little more responsibility than everybody else.
Yes.
Talk about that extra load that's on the radio op than everybody else.
Well, communication is key in the military, and we had a saying that says, you can talk about us, but you can't talk without us. Because in the military, in order for you to go on actually on a mission, you had to have communications. So no communication means no mission, right? So that's at a young age, at 18 years old, in which I got my knee blown out in Iraq, and I was the only radio operator. So I still had to go 6 months in Iraq without an ACL. I still had to go on all the missions, 2 missions a day. I still had to do all that stuff. Hundreds and hundreds of miles walking with no knee, which that makes me think of all the vaccinations I got. Who knows how I ever did that, but we're not gonna talk about that. So for me, the responsibility as an 18-year-old of having a top secret clearance, like they had to call people, find people, and it was intense knowing that I had something in my hand that if I lost, all operations would stop. And that was for me, it's very mental for me.
So after the military, you came back to the States, and you have a couple of passions.
Yes.
And one of the passions is kind of different. You really wanted to be a massage therapist. Where did that come from? That seems out of the a Marine Corps best of the best. Got your knee blown out in service. Mm-hmm. And you want to come back and be a massage operator? That's touchy-feely. That's woo-woo, man. What's going on?
I'm going to be the whistleblower on this.
Okay.
It's because the VA does not treat their veterans. I blew my knee out. I got out. I needed help. The help wasn't there, as in it takes months to get treatments. Mm-hmm. When I broke my femur, I have had 0 physical therapy on a broken femur from the VA.
0.
0. Not one. Not one treatment. Not one look at, nothing. I'm completely back 100%. You won't even know I broke this thing. I did it myself. So I said, hey, if I have these injuries and I have this pain, I can't afford medication. I don't like medication. I'm on an Eastern modality, not the Western medication. I'm on Eastern modality. Craniosacral, shiatsu, acupressure, stuff like that. Because we have the power, our energy. We are machines. Our bodies are machines. So I had to take care of myself. And I had no support. I had no family. I had no money. Couldn't get massages. I literally had to say, I'm going to get paid to go to school. Thank you for the GI Bill. I appreciate you. Put in my work for that. And I went to school for it. And I learned it. And you know what's crazy? I went to college for 6 years. I have like several different majors. But it was nothing that I really like stuck on till I learned.
Right.
I aced massage therapy school, 4.0.
Because it's a passion.
And that's when I started. And then in the military, I started helping too, so.
Isn't it easier to do anything when you're passionate about
100%.
it? It's just like whatever you want to do in the world, doesn't matter what it is, if you can get passionate about that, it's a heck of a lot easier to do it.
100%.
So let's talk about, one of the questions that people ask me all the time is, social media. And, you get lots of following. We get lots of following. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the process of building that following up.
The process has to come with having a lot of time and energy and passion of what you're marketing. So for instance, I'm marketing myself. So I get to wake up and say, hey, my 9 to 5 or your 9 to 5, what I wake up and say is, hey, I got 24 hours today to work on myself today.
Right.
And I'm passionate about it. So for me, the marketing comes from, if you're marketing a product, you must be passionate, as in maybe you might create it. You have to create it. So you know the ins and outs. You know the instruction manual. You don't have to call anybody and ask anybody how to draw it, how to move it, how to use it.
You don't have to go to IKEA and get the
You don't got to go nowhere.
directions.
So my passion started building from being a creator and knowing I'm a creator. And
Right.
then actually, I didn't even have social media for the first 3 years Instagram was out. I would have already had over 1 million followers, easy. My brother begged me. He's like, yo, dude, you got to get this. You got to get on the Instagram. I'm like, no, I'm not posting. Because what's crazy is, like I said, I have over 100,000 moves. I recorded every single session for the last 7 years. You can't take that back.
You can't take it back?
Can't take it back.
So now you have all this video, all
of
this
it.
stuff logged up.
All of it.
And do you consider yourself a daredevil?
I didn't know that until I did some handstands on some wine glasses, or I turned a blender on and I did a handstand and tried to drop an orange in a blender with it on. I've done handstands on panes of glass about 1/4 inch thick. So I didn't think about that until someone came in and was like, you're an artist. And then I thought yes, if you put me in a tent, I could sit next to a sword swallower and do a handstand on glass or something. Yes, so I didn't think about that until now the internet is showing all what this is or this is. So now I'm like, you know what? That's why the gym owners don't accept me, because I am an extreme artist.
Right.
I need a tent, not a building.
You say that, I can't just let that sit out there. So gym owners don't accept you because when you go in to work out, you're a little unorthodox.
No, I can have the conversation with you. This is the unorthodox comes from a word that was created by man that you get to use to describe something that I'm doing.
Right.
Which is fine.
Which is fine.
Which, to you with unorthodox, to me, it's amazing and I'm talented and this is my passion, right? So the conversations go like this. Hi, you would like to go to the gym today? Yeah, I would love to go to the gym today. So you want to run 5 miles? I want to run 5 miles. You're only allowed to run 1 mile in this gym. That's it. The conversation's over.
Done.
The conversation's over. It's like, hey, I'm sorry that your facility only allows 1 mile. In my life and what I need to run 100,000 miles today before
Right.
I leave with the camera on, because there's thousands of people who want to see that. So that conversation, you can only have a conversation with somebody's perspective who only goes so deep.
They only go that far.
Only goes so deep.
Okay. What's next for you?
This
This.
is next for me. It took me 7 years to sit in this chair.
It took you 7 years to get here to the point
sit
where
in this chair.
you're on a television show
100%.
being interviewed about what you do and who you are.
Exactly. It's a nice feeling.
It's really a good
I
feeling.
sat on the couch the other day drinking a protein shake and I thought, this is how people who retire feel. They just put in all that work and they just get to sit here. I put my foot up, I exposed my sock a little bit. I was like, this is, because now it took me 7 years to start this creative thing that I'm the original now.
Right.
As time goes on, at 7 years old, I'm gonna have this long gray beard that's gonna shape down into a triangle. And I'm gonna be sitting on top of a mountain and like, ooh, right? That's all there. So the next thing is whatever the universe says, this is what's for you next. I always run into people who need help, and I always run into people that I need to run into. So this is what's next. I've done reverse goals and planning my whole life, and that's how I got here.
And that's how you got here
100%.
today.
I don't make goals or anything like that. It's reverse goals. If I say I want 1 million impressions a week, if I want to get shared on World Star Hip Hop 3 times, if I want to train Marshawn Lynch, talk to Andre Berto, Meek Mill, if I want to be sitting on here, if I would have wrote that down, I would have cried. I would have overwhelmed myself. I wouldn't have went anywhere. So the accountability of self, which that's how you get here, is knowing that if I wake up, what you do right now today is not for today. This is not for today. This is for the future.
Travis, you are truly an inspiration to everybody. Thank you so
appreciate
much
you.
for being on
Thanks,
the show.
man. Appreciate you guys.
Well, as I told you, we are going to have that link right down here in a couple weeks. So right now it's the first week of November,
Yes.
right? And by the 3rd week of November, we're going to have, and I'm not going to say probably, I'm going to say we are going to have a brand new world record.
Yes.
And we'll have that video
Yes.
for you right on the link right below. Thank you all for being part of the show. Travis, thank you. The incredible, the wonderful, the original, the everything balance guru. It's truly a pleasure to know you. It's a pleasure to have you in Patties of My Life. We really look forward to
I
it.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I'm Dan Hunt saying have a great rest of today and an even better day tomorrow.